Have you ever felt like trying to market your cannabis business is an uphill battle? Whether you're selling products or even services, it seems like no matter which way that you turn, there's more red tape, more restrictions. Next thing you know, Zuck's trying to mess with you. This platform doesn't like you, and it's frustrating, right? And meanwhile, you're looking at your bank account, you see the profit leaking, and you're feeling like there has to be a better way. I've been in this space a decade now. I've seen a lot. I've scaled brands, and there are patterns that play out. And in this training, I want to share with you the top 3 things that leak revenue, that destroy cannabis businesses that you can fix and take action today. So let's dive in. Here's exactly what we're going to cover today in this training is why your effort isn't matching your income. Because a lot of times it's not so much of an issue that you're not trying, that you're not doing things. It's just this is not easy. And a lot of the things that you've been told work for other spaces, but not here. Next up, we're going to talk about the 3 biggest leaks that are killing cannabis revenue and how you can fix them and really build a system that pays you back. And first off, this is probably the biggest one, is content without cash. How many times have you ever heard someone say, just post more? If you just post, then the sales are going to come, you're going to get the clients, everything will work out. But meanwhile, you are posting nonstop, but your sales are stuck. Or you're active online, people are liking your stuff. Maybe they're commenting or even sharing, but meanwhile, you're not getting buyers, you're not getting clients. And another big issue is it looks good. It looks pretty, but it doesn't sell shit. And I know that sounds harsh, but if you've been feeling all of these things, you are not alone. Here is what's actually happening. Number 1, you are missing a message that actually moves money. There's a big difference when it comes to content that gets engagement, likes, shares, and content that gets sales. A lot of times it can come down to not having a call to action. What does that mean? A clear next step, going for the ask, saying the promotion, asking someone to work with you. But the challenge is in this space is a lot of times if you say something outright on social media, for example, 25% off, what happens? You're very likely to get flagged, which makes selling very restrictive and not so simple, right? The other issue is you sound like every other brand. Everybody says the same thing. We're high quality. Our products are the best. I have an amazing service. Nobody cares. Straight up, nobody cares. They want to know what's in it for them. So how do you fix this? Because you could spend all day and lots of time, lots of hours creating content that never converts. First up, I don't care whether you are selling products or services, you need authority content. You need content that shows people why they should trust you fast. You've got less than 3 seconds to get someone's attention. If they are not immediately attracted into your world and see what's in it for them, they're going elsewhere. Up next, this is a huge one, and a lot of people avoid this because they simply just don't know. No one's ever told them, is you need to speak to pain points and outcomes, not just products or features. A lot of times people will put up a post, they'll show their product and talk about all the different features. Again, nobody cares. People want to know what's in it for me. What kind of pain points will you help me solve? How will I feel better? How will this improve my life? Now, you do need to be careful because, again, this is cannabis. And if you make medical claims, you can get in a lot of trouble. People have had fines, they've been shut down, you get a lot of different issues. So you've got to be very, very mindful with this, but it is possible. There is a way to do it that you can speak to people's pain points, speak to their desires, but without making a medical claim. Here's the other thing. You want to make sure every single post is leading someone to take an action, whether that's to contact you, whether that's to go to your website, whether that's to go to your booking link and book a call. You need to know, what is my intention? What is my goal for this post? And what action do I want people to do? And sometimes when you are going for an engagement type content, then yes, you want people, for example, to comment. So you will tell them comment. But when it comes to selling, which is what so many brands struggle with, you need to be very action oriented. And one of the biggest challenges and things to remember is, don't post for dopamine, post for action. What I mean by that is very easy. I work with founders all across the country, and we are all susceptible to it. Of you get high on your own supply and you see something that it looks like it went really well on the surface. Maybe you're getting hundreds, thousands of reactions and comments. But ask yourself, what is your real goal? Because if you're only achieving that and you want to build a business, you have got to have sales. You have got to have customers, clients. And so how many views, how many likes should not be your ultimate measure of success. It should come down to what actions are taking place. Are people going to the website? Are people booking calls? Are they becoming customers? Are they becoming clients? And if you do not know, if you are not tracking this, the time to start is now. Up next, this is a huge, huge issue in cannabis. Let me know in the comments if you have experienced this. Right now, margins, especially on the product side, are very tight. And so a lot of brands fall into the trap. They're tired. They see the numbers, they're going down, and they're like, all right, I'm just going to lower my price, and hopefully more people will say yes. And at first, it might kind of work. You may get a few sales coming in. But then over time, if you keep repeating this pattern, you're going to be working twice as hard for half the money. So you're going to be running sales, giving these crazy deals, or saying yes to clients who totally drain you and take way too much time and don't value you. And you tell yourself, oh, this is temporary. It's growth, but meanwhile, months go by, hell, sometimes even years, and you're still stuck. And really what's happening is you're bleeding out, but calling it marketing. And that is not sustainable long-term, because every time you over discount, that's going to cut into your margins. Then you make more sales on the surface, but behind that is less profit. And it's a downhill paddle from there, because then you start undercharging just to stay competitive. What happens? Well, you go super cheap. You're going to attract cheap people. They're only going to buy when there's a super discount. You start, wondering about your worth. And all the while, it's a race to the bottom. We know that doesn't work. And a lot of times we think the first instinct, whether you sell products or services, is I just got to lower the price and that will make it easier to buy. But it really tells the market that you don't believe in yourself, in your products, in your services, and people can feel that. I want you to ask yourself this question. Look at water brands right now. Why can Fiji water charge more than some basic no-name brand? Why? It's the brand. It's the marketing, right? It's water. And yes, we can argue it might be better quality, filtering processes, but at the end of the day, it's water, right? The same thing applies to this space. The biggest differentiating factor is not just going to be your product. I know that sounds harsh. I know a lot of people want to believe if I just make something really amazing, people will come. But that's not how it works. It really comes down to marketing and moving people. And as soon as you overly discount, you've put yourself in a trap that is very hard and difficult to crawl out of. So how do we fix this? Number one, raise your standards, not just your discounts. And I'm not saying, to be clear, that discounts never work. In fact, the brands that we work with, we do use discounts, but strategically. It is not something to be overly reliant on. It is not something that you do all the time. And it's not something you do to the point where it's not profitable. If the math doesn't make sense here, don't do it. You need to really price more based on the value of the outcome, not the fear of rejection. Because a lot of times when we over discount, it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of lack. So what do we attract? More of that. We don't want to do that. Another thing is level up your marketing. Like the water example, here's another one. Why do people buy Nike over Walmart shoes? Brand, marketing. And yes, we can go into quality and, it can be made superior. But at the end of the day, a lot of these products are made in the same factories. What it comes down to is marketing. Okay? You need a good product or a good service. Otherwise, you're not going to get customers. They're never going to come back. But that is the baseline, the minimum point of entry. From there, it's your marketing and it's your branding. Up next, third biggest profit leak for cannabis brands is an outdated playbook. So for a long time in this space, sales were heavily relied upon like pop-up tables, small events, doing boosted posts through Facebook only for them to reject you, or spending thousands and thousands of dollars on events, having fun, but coming home and realizing that, well, now you just spent thousands, you didn't make that back, and you're going to run around in your follow-up. The key is you've got to level up your marketing with the right playbook. Because here's the real cost of what's going on. You are burning time on tactics that died years ago or just aren't really relevant for this space. A lot of times this can happen because you get a quick hit, like you run a flash sale or giveaway and you get kind of a little bit of response, but not any kind of long-term plan. So meanwhile, you look busy. You're doing all the things. You're taking action. But it's not really building anything that compounds. Because imagine if every day you did 10 kind of random actions, but you weren't sure how they aligned or how they went together and what the long-term effect would be. Now imagine if every day you took 10 proven actions, you knew how they were going to align, how they would compound, and bring you to exactly where you want to be. What option do you think will get you there faster? Of course, the latter, right? The problem, what's going on with so many cannabis brands, is you've got people that are so passionate about this plant. They put their heart and their soul into this, and they are doing the work. It's not an effort issue. It's really just the fact that you've been given advice that's just bad or outdated. And people today, more than ever, especially in this age of AI, want depth and trust. And the other thing you got to remember too is people, customers, and clients are smarter. They are pickier. You've got the internet at your fingertips, so do they. They have been burned out by the BS. And here's the good news though, in all of this. If you are an authentic brand, authentic person, and you know how to apply these things, you don't need to go viral. You don't have to start dancing on TikTok. None of that is required to be successful. But you do need to have repeatable systems in place. We're working with brands right now that have less than 1,000 followers doing over 20K a month on just the DTC side. So the goal here isn't to be Insta famous, to be an influencer, to grow a huge following. All of that is kind of an old, outdated playbook. The goal here is to build a profitable business that aligns with you, that serves others, and makes a bigger impact. So let's talk about how you can fix an outdated playbook. Number one, stop chasing tactics. Anyone who's telling you just get more followers, post until the end of time, that is not it. What you really need is a repeatable system and process where you know every day, your team, this is exactly what we need to do to move forward. Next up, focus on organic activity and automated follow-up. So organic meaning you're not paying to play with Zuck or any other platform. You are putting the content out there yourself, because what that's going to allow you to do is be in charge of your marketing. You're not dependent on anyone else, and you really build the infrastructure. Another thing is having automated follow-up and systems in place, because there are only so many hours in the day, not just for yourself, but even for your team. And when you have the right automations in place, it's going to save you so many hours and make you a lot more money. And here's the last piece. Focus on creating content that builds trust. Not just likes, not just views, not trying to go viral. Look at what's driving people to take action. go back through your post right now on your different pages, and I want you to ask yourself, do you know what actions have taken place from each post? This is going to be such an important piece of really understanding not just marketing, but sales and what drives people. Because what doesn't get tracked doesn't get measured, and we're not going to grow. And you've got to measure your growth by profit, not just posts. There are so many influencers out there right now that are completely broke. And there are businesses with less than 1,000 followers doing 20, 40, hell, some of them even 500,000 a month. And they're not going viral. They don't have some huge following, but they've got the right systems, the things in place. We have taken brands here. If you are curious what this could look like for you, and you're interested in having our help implementing our proven systems, the ones we've used the last decade in scaling cannabis and hemp brands, and you're interested in learning more about working with us, then message me the word FIRE, and I'll see you on the next one.